Hello everyone, my name is Jasveer Singh. I am the head of Civil Engineering Department at Chandigarh Polytechnic College. Welcome to this class. In this first video lecture, we will discuss the introduction to soil mechanics, which is the first chapter as per your syllabus also. And we will discuss various reasons that why you study this engineering science, branch of engineering science. And also we will discuss the various types of soil and how the soil is formed, especially the major soil deposits in India. So let's start with the PPT that I have already shared with you. The first slide is related with the definition of soil mechanics. So before discussing the soil mechanics, we must know what is soil. The soil word is taken from a Latin word which is called solium. And solium means the upper layer of earth's surface. So the soil means upper layer of earth's surface, and it has different meaning for different professions. Like for an agriculturist, it can be the loose surface material on which plant grows, and for geologists, it is a material which is like disintegrated from rocks, and that is not transported from its original position. And soil is also used as a construction material. I will say in the many of the regions, soil is the only locally available material. So soil mechanics, in the simple word, we can define it as the branch of science which deals with the strength and deformation behavior of soil due to the application of load. And as Dr. Carl Venkatjagi, who is called the father of soil mechanics, he defined the soil mechanics as the soil mechanics is the application of laws and mechanics and hydraulics to the engineering problems dealing with the sediments and other unconsolidated accumulation of solid particles which are produced by mechanical and chemical disintegration of rocks, regardless of whether or not they contain an admixture or organic constituents. So that means soil mechanics deals with not just only the formation of soil, but also the laws of mechanics and hydraulics which can be applied to engineering problems which are related to the soil. So in the next slide, we will discuss that why we have to study the soil mechanics. Well, there are various reasons we must study soil mechanics as a civil engineer. So in this slide, we will discuss different structures which are constructed on the soil or constructed by the soil. So we must know the properties of soil before constructing this all structure. So first is the foundation. We already know that foundation of every structure, it has to be rested on soil, or you can say the founded on soil. So before constructing the foundation of that structure, we must know that the soil beneath that foundation is adequate or not. So in the case of earthen dam also, the soil is used as a construction material. So before constructing earthen dams, we must know that soil have enough strength, or you can say enough permeability, so the earthen dams can withstand all the forces produced by the water. And in case of embankment also, we have to design embankments, and we have to check the properties of soil before constructing the embankments. And in the case of canals, we must know that the soil is enough but impermeable that can be used as a lining for the canals. Except these all structure, there are some structures like earth retaining structure like retaining wall and dam reservoirs that we have already discussed. And also sometimes we have to construct some small dams which are made by the soil. So in all type of structures, we have to find out the properties of soil. So to study the properties of soil, we have to study the soil mechanics. So in this slide, there are different objectives of soil mechanics are written. So the first objective is to perform different type of soil surveys, engineering soil surveys. We must study soil mechanics. After conducting those surveys, we will take soil samples and we will conduct different soil testings or different soil tests on those samples with different types of devices and methods. To know all these things, we have to study soil mechanics. After that, when we will conduct those tests to determine the physical properties of soil, we will evaluate and interpret those test results, and we will apply those test results to the design of the foundation supports. And also, to know the behavior of soil under the loads and forces, we must study the soil mechanics. In soil mechanics, we will also study that what are the different soil conservation techniques and which soil conservation techniques can be adopted according to the as per the condition. And also the sedimentation control of dam reservoirs and how we can select the disposal site for solid waste, which is known as landfill. So these all objectives can be studied or discussed in the soil mechanics. So the next slide, there's a picture shown which shows a geological cycle or the geological origin of soil. So starting with this process, which is written as erosion. Let's say this is a rocks, and this rocks will get eroded due to the weathering action. And weathering can be of two types. The main types are physical weathering and chemical weathering. And due to this weathering action, the soil will get break down into, or the rocks will disintegrate into various soil fragments or the soil particles. They will get transported from one place to another by the transporting agents. And those transporting agents can be wind, water, glacier, and also due to the action of gravity. So due to this transporting agent, the soil will get transported from one place to another. And that at that another place, the soil will get deposited, and due to the upheaval process, there will be formation of another object like rock. So this slide shows the formation of soil, which I have already discussed in the previous slide by the picture. So soil is formed due to the weathering of rocks. What are the factors affecting weathering? First is changes in temperature and pressure, erosion and transportation by wind and water and glacier. I've shown this all transporting agent in the previous slide. And also the chemical action, which can be oxidation, hydration. We will all discuss this all processes in the upcoming slides. So types of the weatherings are physical, which is also known as mechanical weathering, and second is the chemical weathering. Well, there is one more process which can cause the disintegration of rocks. That is known as biological decomposition. So let's explain these types of weathering. Well, in this picture, you can see that due to the physical weathering of soils, how that water collects into rock cracks, and then that water freezes and expands. As we already know, when the water freezes, that occupies more volume than the water itself. That forces the cracks to widen. Then, due to the thawing action, that water contracts and gets deeper into the crack again. And this repeated expansion and contraction will cause further cracks till the rock splits. So these are the different physical action which will cause the weathering. So first is change in temperature. Well, rock have different minerals in it. Like different minerals have different thermal coefficient of thermal expansion. And due to the temperature variations, these minerals expand and contract. And due to this temperature variation, or you can say the repeated expansion and contraction, there will be stresses, the development of stresses, which will cause the disintegration of rocks. The second is forces of freezing water. That we have discussed in the previous slide in that picture, that how water gets collected into the crack, and then that water freezes, and then that further goes into the cracks, and it repeats the process repeats till the rock splits. And third action is action of roots. Well, plants and trees also grows in rocks, and roots of those plants and trees, they go into the cracks and fissure over the time, and those roots, over the time, those roots become thicker, you can say, and they will induce stresses on the rocks. That will cause disintegration of the rocks, and further that will cause the formation of soil. The last one is the abrasion. Well, abrasion of rocks can occur due to the action of, you can say, the flowing water, and also by the blowing of wind, and you can say that can be also caused by the moving ice, which is known as glaciers. So these all are the physical action which will cause the physical weathering. So next slide is chemical weathering. So in this slide, the different chemical actions are written which will cause the chemical weathering. The first one is oxidation. So in the oxidation process, there are oxygen ions which combines with the ferrous ions to form ferrous oxide. So the iron containing rocks are subjected to chemical decomposition by oxidation. Well, in the simple words, you must always that the steel is decomposed by the rust. So in the rusting process, there is always need of oxygen and moisture. So we can say that the rusting in rock is called oxidation, which is caused by the oxygen ions and the iron present in the rocks. Second is the hydration. Well, in the hydration, rock minerals combine with water to form a new compound. Like that, new compound will be different from the parent materials. So in the simple words, water which is present in the rocks, that will combine with the mineral present in the, that will chemically react with the mineral present in the rock, and that will cause the disintegration of rock. And the third process is known as carbonation. Well, in the case of carbonation, carbon dioxide gas, which can be present in atmosphere, that combines with water to form carbonic acid. And due to the formation of carbonic acid, there will be decomposition of rock. I will say the chemical decomposition of the rocks. And in the case of hydrolysis, the silicate materials which are present in the rocks, they will react with the water, which can be present in the rocks also. That whole process will cause the chemical decomposition of the rocks. In the case of leaching, leaching is actually the removal of the soluble materials by dissolving them away from the, you can say, solids from which they are formed. And in this process, some minerals like some minerals dissolved out of the rocks, and they are deposited separately, causing decomposition. And decomposition, or you can say the disintegration of rocks, is also caused by the biological decomposition, as I have written in the previous slide. So biological decomposition is caused by the microorganisms, like the bacteria and other microorganisms. They induce chemical changes in their surroundings, like by producing organic acids, which will help the weathering in the soils. So this picture shows all three processes of weathering. First is physical, chemical, biological. We have explained all these types in the previous slide. So next slide is geological classification of soil. So geological classification of soil, as per the geological classification of soil, the soil is mainly classified into residual soil and transported soil. So in the case of residual soil, I will say the material which remains at the rock, the soil fragments or the soil particles which are disintegrated from the rocks due to the weathering action, if they remains near the rock or above the rock layer or the zone of overlying crust, that soil will be known as residual soil. For example, let's say this is a rocks, and due to a weathering action, there will be a disintegration of rock, and soil fragments, soil particles which are heavy and which are not transported from one place to another. These soil particles which remains at the position you can say the means at the place of disintegration are known as residual soil. And the second is transported soil. Transported soil, as we have already discussed, the soils which are transported from one place to another by some transporting agents, and the transporting agents can be water, wind, glacier, and gravity. So in this slide, we will discuss what are the various types of water transported soil. So soil carried by water are classified as lacustrine soil, alluvial soil, and marine soil. So water transported soil can also be known as alluvial soil. So alluvial soils are those soils which are transported from its place of disintegration by the flowing water and deposited along the stream. And lacustrines are those soils which are transported by the flowing water and deposited in the lakes. And marine soils are those soils which are transported also by the flowing water but deposited in the ocean. So in the case of lacustrine deposit, the deposits are deposited in lakes. In the marine, they are deposited in the ocean. And alluvial soil are those soils which are transported by the water. So in the next slide, wind transported soil, which are also known as aeolian deposits. So aeolian deposits can be mainly classified into two types. First is loess. Loess is the deposits of silts which is made by wind, and such deposits are often found like in the downwind of the deserts. And sand dunes are the low irregular hills, you can say, which are formed by the accumulation of sand along some beaches, or you can say in some desert areas. They are called sand dunes. So these are the various types of glacier transported soil. First is eskers, second is kames, and the third is moraines and outwash. And in the next slide, we will discuss one by one. So first one is eskers. Well, eskers are the products of glacial erosion when aided by glacial stream, and they are deposited in the form of narrow, steep-sided ridges. You can see these narrow, steep-sided ridges. You can see my pointer moving off that ridge. So this formation is known as eskers. And in the case of kames, they are the flat top and steep-sided hills. Like these formations are having flat top and steep-sided hills, and these are known as kames. And what are the moraines? They are the like rock fragments which are resulted from the frost action along valley sides, or you can say the adjoining cliffs, which are carried by glaciers. You can see there are different types of moraines shown in this picture, and these are the rock fragments which are resulted from the frost action. And outwash is the soil carried by the melting water. So when the soil will, you can say the water will melt from the glaciers, that will go, that will make the formation like this into the rocks, and these formations are known as outwash. So now, what is the engineering classification of soil? Well, we can classify the soil into three main types. First one is coarse-grained soil. Second is fine-grained, which is also known as cohesive soil. And the third one is organic soil. So first, the coarse-grained soil is that soil which consists coarser size particles, or the coarse grains. It is also known as cohesionless soil or granular soil, because there is no cohesion, or you can say the cohesive forces acting between the particles. So those forces can bind them together. So in the simple words, we can say sand is a cohesionless soil or the coarse-grained soil, in which we can see that the particles are not binded together. And the particles of the coarse-grained soils are mostly rounded, angular, or they can be bulky, or they are hard rock particles. Well, in the case of fine-grained soils, the soil will consist finer size particles or the finer grains. It is also known as cohesive soil because there will be a force of cohesion that will be acting between the particles, which will cause the binding between the particles. For example, clay. So, and the organic soils, the soils like which contains the organic matter, and if we talk about the properties of these soils, these are weaker and these are more compressible, and peat is an example of this type of soil. So this slide shows the difference between clay soil and sandy soil. So in the case of clay soil, there will be finer particles, whereas in the case of sandy soil, there will be larger particles as compared to the clay. And in the case of clay soil, particles will be tightly packed, whereas in the case of sandy soil, they will be loosely packed. They will be fertile in the clay soil, sandy soil, they will be not fertile. And clay you can say clay have high water retention capacity, but in the case of sandy soil, the sandy soil has low water retention capacity. And in the case of clay soil, there is lowest percolation rate of water. You can say the clay soil has lowest permeability, and in the case of sandy soil, that is there is a highest percolation rate of water. So this slide or the next topic is soil profile, and this slide shows this picture which shows the different soil layers which are also known as the soil horizons. Well, soil profile is a vertical section through which you can say the ground, through which the ground along the line of exploration of depicting different soil layers can be shown. So in this picture, we can see that a vertical section of the ground along with the line of exploration is shown, and this picture shows the different soil layers, and we can say this picture shows the soil profile. And the soil profile is obtained from a series of borehole data. Like those borehole data can be collected by different types of borings, which are made, those borings can be done during the soil's exploration. And you can say before the investigation of soil, we have to conduct different types of borings to take the sample beneath the soil to take the subsurface soil sample. So to take that sample, we have to take we have to do boring, different types of boring by different type of equipments. So after taking those boring samples, we can see the different soil layers in that sample itself. So what is the significance of this soil profile? What is the engineering significance of this soil profile? Well, first of all, it gives the types and nature of the different soil layers which are present in the entire soil strata. And secondly, it gives the thickness and you can say the sequence of individual soil layers. As you can see that in this picture, we can see different soil layers are shown. So lower soil contains hard bedrock soils, then comes party weathered rock, then zone of accumulation of fine materials and leach mineral horizon rocks, and the topmost is the decomposed. So these different types of layers, or you can say the soil profile, will give us the different types of layer along with their thickness. And also soil profiles indicate the position of water table. In the soil profile, we can also determine the you can say the depth of groundwater table or at which depth of groundwater is present. And soil profile also indicates the deposition of like different soil materials which are deposited by the weathering agencies on the original soil deposits. So this slide shows the major soil deposits in India. So first one is alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is found in the, you can say, the northern India. So in the Indo-Gangetic plains or Brahmaputra flood plains, you can find this type of soil. Second is the black cotton soil. Well, the black cotton soil extend over the states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Eastern Rajasthan, or you can say Karnataka, some parts of Andhra Pradesh. So these black cotton soil or these deposits are made from basalt or trap rocks. and these are quite, you can say, suitable for growing cotton. That's why they are known as black cotton soils. Third is laterite soils. So laterite soils are extended over the Kerala, South Maharashtra, and Karnataka, Orissa, and the West Bengal. So these are the residual soil which are found by the decomposition of the rocks, rocks like basalt. So presence of iron oxides in these rocks will give red color to this types of rock or this types of soil. Fourth type is desert soil. So desert soils, as we already know, the persons who are living in India, they already know that desert soils are found in the Rajasthan or the adjoining areas, which are covered with the wind-blown deposits of sand dunes. We have discussed the types of aeolian soils. So desert soils are the type of aeolian soils. Next is the marine deposits. So marine deposits are found in the narrow belt all around the coast and run of Kutch. And these marine deposits mostly have the low shearing strength, you can say, and highly compressible in nature. So they are not suitable for the construction of structure. So this is a map of India, which shows the major soil types that we have discussed. So in this map, we can see that alluvial soil almost covers the around 50% of the area, and red soil is also cover the most of the area, around 20 to 30%. So this is the last topic, which is black cotton soil. So as I have given the definition of black cotton soil and the area in which the black cotton soils are found in India, why black cotton soils are so important from engineering point of view? Well, black cotton soils are the expensive soils which extend nearly over the fifth of our country. And if we talk about the properties of black cotton soil, they only consist, they chiefly consist, I will say, the mineral, clay mineral, montmorillonite, which will cause expensive properties to the clay, which will give the expensive properties to the clay. And if we talk about the color of the soils, that ranges from like light gray to dark gray, and they are highly expensive in nature. Due to that reason, we always avoid these type of soils. But these type of soils are good for growing cotton, as we already discussed in the previous slide. So this last slide shows the name of different organizations which deals with the soil work in India. So first one is Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, which is in Karnal, Haryana. Second is Central Soil and Material Research Station, which is in New Delhi. Then Central Soil and Water Conservation Research and Training Institute, which is in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. And then Central Road Research Institute, which is in Okhla, New Delhi. And the last is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, which is also in New Delhi. So these are the various organizations which are established by the Government of India, which are responsible for carrying out research and other activities and to find out the various aspects of soil mechanics and foundation engineering. So thank you. I hope every one of you understood what we have discussed in this PPT and in this video lecture. But if you have any queries, you can always mail me at hodcpc@fumed.in. Thank you again.